Welcome back to Hanratty'S Huddle. I'm Dave Toromeo, and your host is Terry Hanratty. Terry, it is getting close to being officially football season.
It even feels like it outside.
Yeah, it's been nice.
You got some weather that's... I woke up this morning, it was 58 degrees here in Connecticut.
Yep.
And, we went through our horrible storm that we had just had
1,000-year storm
a few days ago.
Yep.
And I had a foot of water in my basement. Thank you.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. And luckily I have a sump pump. It was overwhelmed to begin with, but, it flushed everything out eventually. So then I had a big river come through I have a big wide driveway. You can put 4 cars abreast.
Yeah.
And but I'm sort of at the bottom of a hill. So when the rain comes down the street.
Yeah.
Whoops. And it just put trenches in my driveway, so I got to get that taken care of this week. And other than that, we're ready to kick off football soon here. One more preseason game, the big game for you this week. You got the Jets-Giants here in the New York City area. Yeah. That's what everybody's looking forward to, and I'm sure they'll pack the stadium.
Yeah, I can't doubt that.
Don't you love to see the attendance at these preseason games?
It's such a joke.
And the bad part about it, they make the season ticket holders pay for these preseason games.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the season tickets,
that's almost illegal, right? I'm sure if there was a class action suit, that they would probably win and get all that money back for all those seats. But you can't force people. I mean, you shouldn't be able to force people to buy a preseason game.
No, I mean, well, why not? Why not try to build your fan base?
Yeah,
and give put these tickets for sale at the gate.
Yeah, like what are these baseballs do? Like the Yankees and the Mets, and they always have these camps that come out. That's it. Grow your fan base at the they have all these youth camps going throughout the summer. Have them come out, even if they can't stay for the whole game. They stay for a half. They get to experience seeing the players and being close to the field. Don't do this to people. It's just not fair. It's just
I think you would get the same amount of bodies in the stadium for a game, but they'd be new bodies,
right?
And they say, "Wow, why don't we just try to get a season ticket for this thing?"
Yeah,
it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
Or even just come to a game or two.
Discount and bring kids from schools and teams in and stuff like that.
I agree with you.
There's a lot of goodwill you could give by that.
I think. Listen, the business of sports is obviously very interesting to me. I run a master's program regarding this specifically, and seeing the dynamic pricing or the site licenses or the PSLs over the years. It's really it's price gouging is what it is, and it's really just not fair to the end user or the consumer. It's not. I understand if you have a product that is a hot commodity that you can set your own price, but this is to force people to have a license on a seat just for the right to buy a ticket. That's very very odd.
That's pushing things.
That's really pushing it.
Now you got Jerry Jones. The Dallas Cowboys finally jumped over, or first team to jump over $10 billion.
Yeah,
that's hard to believe.
It is.
Really is.
It really is hard to
think
believe.
About it.
It's a big number, and it's only gonna Well, and we know what drives the TV. The TV rate. If the TV ratings suffered, then the networks wouldn't be ponying up all this money. Really, the predominant amount of money that they get is from the TV networks, ticket sales, obviously, and then all this secondary income that nobody thinks of, parking alone. I mean, it costs $40-50 to park your car at these games
minimum. And I think you really got to give Roger Goodell a lot of credit. I think he has done a great job of promoting the NFL and really maximizing everything in the NFL. Like even as far as parking and bringing up these things, the new stadiums and things that that really elevate the price of the franchise.
If you're an owner, yes, you have to give him credit. If you're a fan, if you're an everyday fan, I don't know how much credit you want to give him. I think you might want to say this guy is killing me. Now and now we have games all over the world, which is I understand. You're growing the game, globally, internationally, fine. You have games on Sunday morning at 9:30, fine. But then you go, okay, where's the game? It's not on network TV. Now you need a Fubo, subscription. Now you need an Amazon subscription. Now you need this to watch this game. I just think you're going to lose people eventually because you're too spread out. And but that is proven to be wrong thus far. It is a wildly successful and highly demanded product, and we all know, I think, it has been driven for years by the gambling.
And now you have LA 28 Olympics.
Yep.
Flag football.
Yeah, flag football. Yeah.
Now, I didn't realize there's a flag football league.
Yeah.
But now they're complaining because some of the top NFL players want to play in this flag football.
Correct.
Yeah. They want to win a gold medal in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Just like the NBA kids, the LeBrons of the world want to win that gold medal and put it on their resume and hang it in their closet.
Yeah.
But here now, these guys that play in this league who are the top players in flag, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And I thought the NFL was getting a little bit towards flag anyway, but that's another point. But, I mean, these guys are going to come in, and just for that one short stint of time, they're going to, obviously they're going to dominate the world in flag football.
Yeah.
Nobody can throw the ball or catch the ball the way that we can in this state. That's our game.
Yeah, you talk about, and you have the right to say things like that, I think, because you played at a different time. But when I hear Tom Brady commenting about the difference in the game or how guys are preparing,
that's a joke.
I mean, this guy, can you be any more disingenuous than this guy? I mean, the reason why the rules changed, knucklehead, is because of you. Because a lot of the stuff, and people have said Brady should be wearing a skirt, and I was one of them. It was, you brushed by this guy and you got a penalty.
So back in the day, Lambert came out and said that all quarterbacks should wear skirts because they don't get hit.
I remember that. Yeah.
But that's when you could get hit every time.
That's right.
If you ran the ball and you decided to slide, you'd have about 3 helmets in your back.
That's right.
And it's not a penalty.
Right.
Nowadays, if a guy when he starts his slide, you can't touch him. And if it's in the pocket, and Brady, I mean, everybody says, well, how can he play 42, 43, whatever it was, years old? I said, if you don't get hit, you can play the game forever.
He's playing a glorified 7-on-7.
Yeah, he stays in great shape.
Yeah. I give him all the credit in the world
because
for
they
that
make
stuff.
so much money, they can afford their own nutritionist, they can afford their own cook, they can afford their own rest time.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go out and get a job in the off season like we did in the old days.
Yeah.
But no, it's when he comes out and says something about the game has changed, for the less dangerous, I guess you would say.
Well, listen. So, but yet with all of that, we're seeing still a lot of injuries in this preseason camp.
Well, I think it goes back, and I'll stake anything on it.
Mm-hmm.
That these guys, they don't. First of all, I think they probably lift too many weights.
Okay.
To get bigger and stronger and all that good stuff because you can only push your muscle to a certain extent. I mean, it's sort of like a balloon. You keep blowing the air and all of a sudden pop.
Yeah.
And your muscle eventually got to give out if you keep putting that kind of pressure on it. And then, when they don't have any kind of contact, we used to hit every day.
Yep.
Not quarterbacks. Running backs would get a shot when they come through the line, get a little thud.
Yeah.
But the offensive and defensive lines would go at it.
Yeah.
And the linebackers would go at it. And we'd have, pass protection drills with the running backs picking up the linebackers. So there'd be big contact there.
Yeah.
But these kids don't get contact anymore. It's all touch, and finesse here, finesse there. And it's such a shock to their system when they finally do have to get contact. And something's going to give.
Something's got to give. Yeah, no, listen, it's and you do have a lot of injuries this preseason, not just with the quarterbacks.
Well, obviously. The Steelers, they lost their number one center.
Yeah, that's tough.
And, it's Herbig. And, he's going to miss the whole season. He probably was, I think the Frazier, the rookie, the second-round pick from West Virginia, I think he ultimately was going to take over the center position. But Herbig was such a great, he could play center, guard, tackle.
Yeah.
So you needed those guys, and he had the experience, and he had, so that's a guy you really need on your team that could play all those positions. So that's going to be a big deal for the Steelers.
And he's gone for the season, right?
Gone for the year, yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. Man, knock on wood. I mean, listen, injuries are a part of the game. We all know that, but you have guys, who are going down, and it's tough because they're really a lot of the reason people watch the games. So.
Should the Jets play Rodgers this week? Now, there's one that you sort of go, even that likes contact for everybody prior to the regular season.
Yeah.
Rodgers is maybe the exception to that rule because
Maybe,
he's
yeah.
42 years old.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in a year and a half now, or whatever, 2 years, whatever it was, that one series he had last year. Coming off an Achilles tendon tear. I mean, that's a tough one. Back in the day, that used to be a career ender.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
the doctors can operate on it, make it better in a year.
Yeah.
But, he might be that exception. He's put
He might
in
be.
12 years of, great quarterbacking.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he stayed sharp. His mind is sharp. And so he might be the one guy where you can say, well, maybe we don't want to play him. But it's going to be a tough call for the coaches.
It will be, but at the end of the day, by the way, they scrimmage. They've been practicing against the Giants this week, and that's the team they play Saturday, I think. And they scrimmaged them yesterday. He had a big day yesterday, 3 or 4 TD passes. Garrett Wilson was, they were basically scoring at will against the Giants.
Well, I said when he was at Green Bay
Yep.
that he's one of the few people that I would actually pay to watch.
Yeah,
I thought he was that good a quarterback.
Yep.
And just his awareness of the field and the way he gets rid of the ball, it was truly amazing. Very few people can do that.
All right, and sticking on the QB discussion, I think Sean Payton was listening to us way back before the draft.
Way back,
What do you think?
Because we called that a long time before the draft that this
Most
kid, Bo
likely.
Hicks, was some kind of quarterback. Because he really had what you wanted.
Yeah.
And he's 24 years old. He's
Right.
had a lot of games under his belt.
Yep.
A lot of throws under his belt. And he's had good coaching. So he's going to have an easier transition into the pros than most kids will.
Yep. So Bo Nix will be the starter out in Denver, and Jarrett Stidham, the former Patriot quarterback, will be the backup. And then what does this mean for Zach Wilson, the former Jet? I don't know.
And
QB3, or do they cut him?
And I've always said I like the kid. I thought
I know,
Wilson
yeah.
had, I've been sticking with him.
Yeah.
And I think he played pretty well in the preseason.
Yeah, he took a safety in a game last week against Green Bay, and I saw it, and I thought, this is where he never learned. You just can't let that happen.
No, you got to get rid of the ball.
You got to get rid of the ball. You're in your own end zone. You've got that 2 seconds in your head. You just got to let it fly or let it rip out of bounds.
Well, that's the key. Normally, you count to 3. You better get rid of the ball.
Yep.
If you're in your own end zone, that clock really tightens up.
Accelerate it. Yeah. So but I don't know why, to be honest, they would continue to pay a salary for a guy that's third on the depth chart. I don't know. Maybe I feel bad for the kid. I do. I think the Jet management still says we still believe he's going to have a fine career in the NFL. They still saw something, but they just obviously they had to call it a day with him. So interesting. We'll see what happens there, but. You have some interesting things, interesting developments with players across the league, and I am watching Hard Knocks, as you know, the Chicago Bears. I'm on record as saying I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be great, but he has looked very good. But as you said, he should look good in the preseason.
Well, everybody, all the fans, no matter what team you're a fan of, got to take a step back.
Yeah.
Because these guys, you don't know who's playing against who. I mean, you could have your rookie quarterback playing
like
against
they crushed the Bengals last week.
Second and third teams, guys that are never going to be playing in the NFL.
Yeah,
could be on that defense. You don't know. Right. No one gets into a depth chart that much. So until the regular season starts, the first couple games are going to tell you just how good that rookie quarterback is.
Yep.
And then you have to make adjustments from there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Peyton. That could be in the back of his mind to keep Wilson. Because you think, and we all think that Bo Nix is going to be very good.
Yep.
But if you really want to make a run, you may need that third quarterback. A lot of times you see that third quarterback. But does Wilson want to stick around and be a third quarterback?
Well, that's the thing.
That's the other thing.
So that's it. Where is he mentally? Where's his frame of mind? He's, it's interesting getting back to the Bears for a sec. Look, listen, if you have the first pick, and I think they had the 7th or 8th pick, first and 8th, because they took Rome Odunze, the wide receiver, and those two make a nice combo. But let's put it this way: you have 2 picks, high picks like that in the draft, your team better be improved.
Yeah,
right.
And I'll tell you what, that NFC Central Division is finally going to be something to take notice of.
Oh yeah,
That's a good division now.
That is a good division. Minnesota,
Detroit, is
Chicago,
going to be good.
Detroit.
And Green Bay is going to be very good.
That's be very. Those are going to be very highly. You're right. That'll be fun to watch those head-to-head games this season. So, and I think that the AFC East plays that division. You know how they always cross over once every year.
Rotate.
They rotate. So that's not good because they're all good teams.
Well, how about Pittsburgh playing all their conference games at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's just an absurdity how that thing was, how that material was fed into the computer to spit out all those kind of games.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy the way these schedules are put together. Now, like you say, it's all generated by a computer, travel and conference and in conference and in division. So, but it's a great time of year. I look forward to it, not just the NFL.
The world looks forward to it.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all the buzz now. Can you believe the NFL's back already? Can you believe they're back? And it's fun to see. We've got one preseason game left.
Yep.
And we got a little time of training camp, so there's going to be a lot of cuts coming up, and there's going to be a lot of people on the waiver wire where you just say, "You're kidding me! How can they possibly cut him?"
Yeah, and it's a little different this year because you have this the ending of the preseason a little bit before the regular season starts. So we have a little time off here. And so, which is good because I'm a big college football fan as well. So I get to watch some college football, hang out, watch. Obviously we have the big Notre Dame Texas A&M game coming up on the 31st. So
that's going to be a game I'm very concerned with. I think A&M is very good.
Okay.
Playing down there, we have a really good offensive line, but they are very, very young. So it's going to how they're going to react to that crowd there, because that's one of the tough places. It is going to be at night, so that helps them as far as the temperature probably drop from 120 to 110. So it's going to be a little warm, and we'll see how these kids react.
Yeah, yep. And that was I'm trying to find the spread of that game for us. Not that
Notre Dame's about a 2-point dog.
Are they a 2-point dog?
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I could care less whether they're favored or not. No one wins a game on the point spread.
No, but it's not. Listen,
unless you're better, then I don't bet.
No,
if I did, I'll tell you what, I would be broke today.
Well,
I can't pick a game to save my life.
There's an old saying that the house always wins, right? The house always wins. So,
and if I ever tell anybody on this show that someone's going to win, you better go the other way because it's that bad.
So interestingly, we have some games coming up. Actually, this Saturday, live college football, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and then the following Thursday we have NC State's playing a game against WCU, whoever the hell that is. WCU, okay, I'm drawing a blank.
Western. Digital schools.
Yeah.
How about you said Georgia Tech? How about Georgia Tech signing? Did you see that?
No.
They signed an offensive lineman. He's a 4-star offensive lineman. And he's getting $800,000 a year. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. $800,000. He's a freshman in college. And they said that in the same article there were 2 other guys who are big offensive linemen who have not committed yet. They're in the class of 2025. And they said that they're going to be 7 figures, both of them.
Wow.
That's per year. You wonder where are these schools coming up with this stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that they're paying that kind of money for all these kids, and it's not, and it's every school. There's not a certain amount of well, that's the SEC. No, that's everything. Every school is paying somebody for all these players. It's just a matter of where you are in your position and whether you're starting or not. That's the only difference in money.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the other, for lack of a better word, marquee games for college football starting. You have Clemson at Georgia in week 1.
Wow.
That's
hard to believe they're playing first game.
Right, and Georgia's a 14-point favorite in that game. Well, they're home.
Well, Georgia's picked number 1 this year, preseason.
Penn State at West Virginia.
That could be interesting.
That's a backyard, right? That's really,
that used to be a great rivalry. They said Pitt, Penn State,
right?
and West Virginia. Those three schools used to bang around in each other. Those were really good. Series.
And your Fighting Irish are now a 3-point dog to Texas A&M.
Oh boy!
I don't know.
We lost our number one offensive lineman, so that doesn't help. Our left tackle.
Okay.
And so he's out for the year with a pectoral muscle tear,
Gotcha.
which is when you're pushing weights, you're building up these pecs, and maybe you build it a little too strong. I don't know. That's my total take on that. Zero medical background.
No, but you've been around the game enough to know some of this stuff, right?
And I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, so.
And I keep talking to guys that I played with, and I said, "Do you ever remember big injuries that caused you could play for the year happening?" Both in college and the pros. I keep talking to my buddies, and they said they can't remember. Occasionally it happened in a game, but these things are happening in practice. They're happening in preseason, and there's just so many guys that are on the IR before the season even starts and during the year. I mean, they're constantly treading guys through their training camp or their camps.
Yeah, and just to close the loop on this non-gambling site information, the Steelers are at the Falcons in Week 1. They're getting 3 points.
Ah,
interesting. Huh? Very interesting.
It'll be interesting for Steelers this year, I think.
I think it will be. Yeah. So, all right. So we're through the Olympics. We're watching really kind of a historic season, and it's just flying so far under the radar with Aaron Judge. This guy's a monster. He's a beast in a good way.
Yeah.
The guy hit 2 home runs last night.
Look at the batting average. That's the key.
Yeah.
Not the key, but that's something that if you're a real baseball fanatic,
yeah.
There were very few guys even hitting over 300. Here's Judge hitting about 220s or 320 when he got 45 home runs and he's leading the league. He's going to very easily win that Triple Crown this year.
Yeah, he's hitting 334.
That's unheard of nowadays.
47 homers, 117 RBIs.
People don't care about batting averages anymore.
Yeah.
Because you look up and down everybody's roster, everybody's in the 200s.
Do you know how old he is?
Judge?
Yeah.
27?
Yeah, I would have gone there too. Yeah. He's 32.
Oh, wow.
A little older than I thought.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah. 6 foot 6. He's 32. So, and he's making a lot of money. Obviously, he deserves it.
Very much.
But at the end of the day, you know what I think is hurting his, the interest level with his home runs in the last few years, and is really what happened in the '80s during the steroid era with Sammy Sosa and
Mark McGwire
and all that, and those guys. That was such. I mean, that was like it was everybody was following and just watching it. They'd be cutting into local news to tell you what they're doing. So now it's just like, whatever. Judges.
Well, I can remember when Hank Aaron was going after Babe Ruth's record.
Oh, yeah. I remember too, yeah.
And, that was something. Every
Sure
time he came up to bat on a game that wasn't nationally televised, they put it on.
That's right.
They cut to whatever programming
That's
they
very
had.
true. I remember that.
And they showed Hank at bat. Okay, he ground out the shortstop. And they sent it back to their regular programming.
I remember being at my grandmother's in Pennsylvania, and the game was on, and then it's back when you had my dad was watching something, and as soon as the thing went, he turned the channel, and to that, and you were watching around the bases. So yeah very interesting.
And that's hopefully that they don't forget about, because the home run king was like the heavyweight champion. Who's the heavyweight champion now? Nobody knows.
Well, that's because there were so many different. But you know what? In my mind, he's still the home run king, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth is number 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like cheaters, and I don't like cheating, and I don't. And that's why I don't like the Patriots.
Aaron and Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And the other guys, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds was a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
Before the steroids.
Before that crap. Yeah.
He had all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
When he was at Pittsburgh, he started with the Pirates, so I got to, I didn't know him, but I, obviously followed the Pirates, so I followed him.
Yeah.
And he was a skinny little kid.
He was.
He had such a quick bat.
Yeah.
And he could run like a deer, and he could cover the outfield, and he hit for the average. He stole the bases.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I guess he just wanted to hit more home runs.
And it's funny because
And he ballooned. His head was
he did.
enormous.
His head, his old, everything about him was just insanely. And it's just like, and I don't like that, but I did love what I mean. Even though I'm a Mets fan, I loved watching those giant teams with Bobby Bonds. I'm sorry,
Bobby Bonds.
Bobby
Bobby
Bonds
was good.
and Willie McCovey,
Yeah.
Mays. I mean, they had some great players.
People forget about Willie.
Chris
Willie was
Spire,
one of the,
shortstop.
Willie's in that top 5 of the greatest of all time.
All right, my friend. Anything else on your mind?
I think we're good.
We're
getting closer and closer to that kickoff, both college and pro.
We're getting there, man. We're getting there, and then we are here on Facebook. We're going to be posting this on Spotify and in other areas. So thanks to our friend Rob Adams for his help with this stuff, and we'll see you soon. Signing off for Terry Hanratty, I'm Dave Toromio. Have a great day, folks.